Hello and welcome to Keto Homestead with Jess. Hello, Rebel Canners. How are you doing tonight? You still in here? Trying to get this shared out to everybody so people can come in. Hello, hello. I see two people in here. How you doing tonight? I figured I'd jump on here and we could talk a little bit about keto. It's been a while since I've talked about keto. Hello. Oh, you can see me now. Woohoo. Hi, Grips. How you doing? Hi, Ginger Ninja. How are you? I figured we'd do a question and answer about keto. I haven't done a keto video or a keto live in a while, so I figured you guys could pick my brain. Waiting for a couple more people to jump in and say hello. Hey, Firefly, how you doing? Try and get my name up here so if anybody new comes in, they can see my name. There we go. That's better. Woohoo! Yes, Rebel Canners, you rock. That's awesome. So Rebel Canner says she has a keto contest entry ready. If you haven't checked out my channel or seen the video, me and Sherry are doing a keto low carb contest once a month. All you have to do is put out a video, hashtag it Ohio Buckeye Bake Off, and basically once a month we'll pick a category and the participants will put out a video. So the month of April is going to be a bread recipe, whether that's low carb or keto, it doesn't matter, whatever type of sandwich bread recipe. It can be a fruit bread or whatever you want to do as well, just some type of keto bread, and then you'll enter that. Let's see, it would be after Saturday the 10th. You can enter it up until Friday the 16th. Hey, Viper, how you doing? Nose picking, how you doing? Oh, check that out. Rocky Ridge Beef Farm. Awesome. Thank you, Nose Picking. This is what happens when you get into a hurry. There we go. That's better. Hey, Gardening in the North, how you doing? I just got done eating my dinner. I had ribeye and I'm having a kale shake. We got 11 people in here. That is awesome. What did you all have for dinner tonight? Or have you had dinner yet? I've got 12 people watching. 4 thumbs up. I hope you guys do enter the contest. It'll be a great giveaway. It's going to be fun. I'm trying to bring our communities together, give some support, and keep people accountable, keep myself accountable. It'll be awesome. I've got people sharing me out on Instagram that I've went live. If any of you have a community tab, go ahead and share me out. If you would, I'd appreciate it. What do you put in your kale smoothie? I put a handful of kale. I put a handful of spinach, 2 cups of kale. I do about 4 teaspoons of heavy whipping cream. I do 2 strawberries, a tablespoon of stevia, and a little bit of water, and then I'll blend that up, and then I'll add ice to it. Sometimes to up my fats, I will put coconut oil in there or MCT oil in there. It just depends how I feel that day. I really listen to my body. Hey, Diana, thanks for coming in. How you doing? Firefly, that is not a dumb question. You gotta really pay attention. Coconut water is allowed, but you have to watch the sugar content. I have looked for quite a few coconut waters in the store, and it's really hard to find without the high sugar content. So you just gotta really look at those labels. For gardening in the north, dinner was gluten-free pizza with pepperoni, hot banana peppers, onions, pineapple, and salad. That sounds good. Hey, Mad Chad, how you doing? Thank you, Rebel Canners. I appreciate that. I have been working on a new recipe, and it's like a chatful. And I think I have it perfect now, so I'll be posting that. I don't know if I'll enter that into the challenge or if I will do a video on it yet. I haven't decided yet. Excuse me. But I just made a keto pizza, and it's in this little tiny cute heart waffle maker. I got it for $1 at Walmart when the Valentine's stuff went on clearance, and it turned out really good. You have to eat like 2 or 3 of them for dinner, but for snack or whatever, lunch, it's really good. You can put any ingredient on it you want, but they turned out really good. I had to finagle the recipe quite a few times, but I think it's great now. What is keto pizza? Keto pizza is instead of making it out of regular dough, you're fine. I make mine out of almond flour. Some people make it out of coconut flour. But yeah, I use almond flour because it's my favorite. I don't really care for the coconut flour personally, but some people do. Yes, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Awesome, Diane. So did you hear the challenge that I put out? Some people on keto are non-dairy, and some people are. That's the awesome thing about keto is like you can really it's really versatile. You can do what you want or what your body needs. Some people do dairy, some people don't. Okay, so the challenge is every month I'm trying to bring awareness to keto and low carb, and also help people stay accountable. So the challenge is once a month. This month is a keto or low carb bread. All you do is film you making a keto or low carb bread, and I can't keep these dates right. On Saturday, after Saturday, the 10th, you can post that video, hashtag Ohio Buckeye Bake Off. And that way, me and my partner Sherry can find that video really easily. And then we'll enter you into a contest, and you'll be able to win a prize in the month of April. So every month, it'll be a new challenge. It'll be a different category of keto or low carb recipe that you can put out. So I'm just trying to bring community together, bring awareness, and help people stay accountable. Help myself stay accountable. I'm pretty strict though. I don't really ever go. I've been keto now 8 years and haven't cheated, so I don't get tempted very easily. Yes, healthy. Just catching up on these comments. Hey, Dr. Prepper, how are you doing? No, it's not safe to just store-bought keto items. It depends though. Like, like I said, keto works different for everybody. Some people do dirty keto, some people do strict keto. I don't know if there's an actual word for it, but some people do like product keto, and that's what I call grocery store keto, is like product keto. And sometimes it works for people, sometimes it doesn't. I just personally like the strict keto. But if you go into the store and you see those Atkins keto bars, or they have all kinds of stuff, the keto slim drinks, or I don't know. If you look on the back of the ingredient list, they're not keto approved ingredients. So I stay away from them. Yeah, they have lots and lots of keto stuff out there nowadays. Yeah, the gluten-free stuff you got to be careful on too. I personally have never been gluten-free, but I do know a couple people that are close to me that are gluten-free, and there's a lot of gimmicks out there for that stuff too. Because it's a fad, like keto is like the big, huge thing, and so these companies are just wanting to jump in on it, so they're just going to put their products out. Oh, thank you, Diana. I appreciate that. What's the difference between Atkins and keto? Atkins was a very high protein diet, and it gave a lot of people problems. Keto is moderate, it's low carb, high fat, and moderate protein. So you really have to balance it out. You can't just go out and eat a bunch of meat, from what I understand. Hello and welcome, Queen Broncos. Thanks for coming in. I hope you all are hitting the thumbs up button as you're coming in. So this is a question and answer panel. So if anybody has any questions, please put it in capital letters. Or if you want to, you can jump up on the panel and ask me a question. That is totally up to you, but you're more than welcome. The only thing I ask is that you stay respectful and you show your face. I'm going to go ahead and copy this link, and I will put it in the chat in case any of you do want to jump up on the panel and talk. And there it is. So, Queen Broncos, are you keto, or are you looking into it? Oh, that's okay, Viper. I appreciate it, though. I hope you have a good visit with your family and have a good dinner. So like I said, when I started keto, it was 8 years ago. And the thing that pushed me was I was really overweight and depressed and sick of feeling the way I was. I started out at 296 pounds. And back when I started keto wasn't popular. They didn't have all this box keto stuff or recipes out. They didn't have all the information on the web like they do now. So I basically had to learn it all on my own and figure it out. And it was really frustrating. It took me about a year to understand exactly what keto was and how to do it. And I had a lot of failures in that first year. And I cried a lot because I couldn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. And finally, after a year of being on keto, I was able to lose, in a whole year, I lost 140 pounds. And since then, I've maintained 150 pounds. So that's pretty much my story on keto. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? Can't hear you.
I'm just going to share it out on my side.
If you have high cholesterol, is keto safe? Yes. You do need to watch what your intakes are, and they do have a lot of on the internet now. They do have a lot of keto calculators that you can use that can help you get to the goal that you want to get to. Also, the great thing about keto is that there's a big misconception about keto. People think keto is just for weight loss, but depending on what your goals are, you can actually gain muscle and gain weight on keto as well. It's really versatile to what your body needs. Does that food make you gassy? It doesn't me at all. But I also do. I think a lot has to do with like when you're switching your diet so dramatically. I can't ever say that word. But when you switch it so like that, I think some people can become bloated. But I do a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in the morning and 8 ounces of water, and that really helps. Apple cider vinegar does a lot for your body, though. It also helps boost your metabolism, and it helps you to go longer between meals. It's a really, really good thing to take in the morning. And if you make your own apple cider vinegar, that's even a better thing.
All right. I just did a max share.
What is a max share?
This goes to everybody that's in my content list.
Oh, that's
Hey,
awesome.
Diana's in here. There you go.
Yes, I just got that. I got it too. That's awesome. So we're just talking about keto and the lifestyle. Diana says she drinks apple cider vinegar every day. Really good for you.
Especially when you make your own. I mean, because depends on what tree of the year it is, what tree you grab from. It has different flavors, and some can be really mild, and some can be really sour. So we like to mix ours around a little bit, and it makes for a nice apple cider vinegar, and you know where you got it.
Right. And the mother is really good for you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
My friend Motivational Doctor just put out a video yesterday about it. All the diseases it occurs. Yeah, it has a lot of good properties to it. A lot. Mark, you do apple cider vinegar as well, don't you?
When I remember.
Do you take it straight or do you mix it with water?
We'll mix it with water, and you drink through a straw because the apple cider vinegar will deteriorate your teeth. So you want to drink it through a straw. But I can't talk.
Yeah. The first
Anything
time,
acidic.
yeah. The first time I tried apple cider vinegar, I didn't have anybody to help me or tell me about it. And I don't know where I seen or if there was an article, but they were taking a shot of apple cider vinegar. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just do it that way. So I plugged my nose and I chugged it back. It was the worst experience I ever had in my life. I thought I was going to die. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. My heart was just pounding. I was like, oh, never again. So back to the books and the computer I went, trying to figure out how to take this apple cider vinegar. It was a definite shock to the system.
So, guys, if you can do me a great favor, you guys that know me, run her playlist. She needs only 800 hours so she can get monetized, and then she gets some of the benefits that goes along with that. So if you can run her playlist and let it run overnight, that'll be much appreciated. She's got a lot of good stuff in there.
Wow, Diana, you're on the right track. Hey, Lisa D, thanks for joining. Diana says she doesn't take any medicine. That's awesome. Runs 5 miles a day and drinks lemon juice daily. I also do the lemon juice daily, but I do mainly the reason I do lemon juice is because I drink a lot of greens, my spinach and stuff like that.
I found a new green drink that the mom of the missus there likes it a lot, and I found it at the store. So this year, I think I'm going to be doing a lot of that and trying it out and see if it's as good as it is, because it's really tasty. I think that pineapple, banana, kiwi. I can smell that coconut. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. It was green, which I don't understand how they did the green stuff, but
yeah.
but just reading the benefits that was in that jar, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Huh. Yeah, you got to drink the lemon juice to break down. What are they called in spinach? I can never say that word. Oxalates. Is that how you say it, Mark?
Oxalates are more or less what it is some people get if you eat raw spinach, they get a stomach ache and it can affect them differently. So yeah, that breaks something down inside of there.
But if you eat too much of it, it can also cause kidney stones.
Yeah. The other thing that you can do is if you can fry it real quick over open heat, and that'll also discharge those.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it with juicing, what everybody knows at the end of your juicing, you just use a run of lemon through there, and it'll help you clean out your juicer, and it gives you that extra boost.
Yeah. So I just drink lemon juice throughout the day so that it breaks down that spinach in my system so I don't end up with kidney stones. But you were saying something interesting the other day, too, that I had never heard about before, Mark. You said that you're not supposed to mix citrus with your vegetables.
No. So I got this little book. If you guys haven't seen this book, you can buy this out on Amazon. And actually, I think if you go on my website, it's on my Amazon link. But I was reading in here, and they're discussing the differences about vegetables versus fruit. So instead of digging through there, we'll just Google it. All right, so in this one here, and this is from healthcare.com, Utah, it's saying that it's okay to do that, but make sure you're eating them as well.
Eating what as well? The vegetables?
Yeah, vegetables instead of just juicing it with it. Let me see what the Food Network. I don't like them.
I don't. Go ahead.
And so this is coming off healthline.com. No, I don't need more information. It is just saying carrots. This one here, they're using kale, carrots, beets, cabbage, spinach, broccoli, parsley. And then the cucumber one, they do have the lemon with the cucumber, and they got mint leaves in there. Swiss chard, watercress, or no, that's wheatgrass, celery, tomatoes. It says the bottom line is you can juice a wide variety of vegetables, each providing a unique set of nutrients and health benefits. Try mixing and matching vegetables with the list above to squeeze different minerals and vitamins and antioxidants into your diet. You can also combine these veggies with certain fruits to dial up the flavor and benefits. I was always taught that when you do with this mixing your greens and veggies with your citrus can be harmful, and people can actually get like what I call it, the stomach wobbles or collywobbles. Like when you eat, you were asking about sorrel. We also call woodsman treat or wood sorrel or something like that. Some people actually get colic wobbles from eating it. And it's like rhubarb, but it's plant.
Hmm. See, now I don't like mix my citrus with my shakes, like with my smoothies, but I'll like make, like for instance, I'll make a smoothie for dinner, and then after I'm done with dinner, then I'll drink my lemonade. So I don't know if that's any different, or I don't know.
I don't think it's anything bad about any of it. I mean, you're juicing, you're getting a whole lot more vitamins and minerals because you just can't consume what you're going to juice.
Yeah.
The fiber alone would fill you up. So I think that's the key to it. But don't waste that stuff, because when you juice something, let's say you're just doing all vegetables, after you're done doing that, that makes an awesome soup base. So if you want to do a soup broth or something like that, you save that, throw it in the freezer, and then bring it back out later on when you want to do your soup broth or your veggie broth or anything like that. That is a good way to do it.
Yeah. John Womack is saying, I'm going to start keto on Monday. What is the best start, would you say? For me, I'm pretty hardcore. I'm strict, like I said. So when I talk to people about keto, I don't think they should get their feet wet. I think you should be prepared with all the ingredients on hand, and you should jump straight into it, because you're trying to convert your body from burning. You're trying to convert your body from running on sugars to healthy fats. You're trying to run on ketones. So you want to get all that sugar out of your body and all those carbs out of your body, so you're switching fuel sources.
Hey, Grant, thanks for stopping in, man. Glad I see you.
I'm just trying to catch up on the chat. Yeah, I don't drink soda. The only thing really I drink is lemonade made with stevia. I drink my coffee in the morning. I do my Kale shakes. And every once in a while, I'll have Zevia, which is like a carbonated water flavored with stevia, but it tastes like pop.
So we have some. You're talking about juicing, so I got this out. So if you guys are interested in some cool recipes and other stuff, just let me know. And there's some really decent recipes in here.
Hello, Courtney. Thanks for coming in. She says she's allergic to oranges. Grant, thank you for coming in. It's nice to meet you.
So there's a thing that Courtney's husband was talking about, is my still for making apple juice. The old-fashioned way of making cider, with crushing the apples and everything else. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out, because it makes some of the best apple juice you're ever going to have. And then the byproduct of that, you can do apple sauce, or you can make apple butter. So there's many, there's other uses that you can do when you're making your apple juice.
See, and apples and apple juice are so high in sugar content that is not an option for me. I don't do any fruits at all, Mark. I do berries, and that's it.
Well, you do like goji berries? Thanks, Grant. Yeah, we are on a late night because of the second shift. So that's why I figured if I was going to come up here tonight, I was going to send it out so everybody could come in. And the people that don't usually see me because they're in bed sleeping, they can get back together, let people know I'm back on and stuff like that. So, but thanks for coming in, buddy. Yeah, you can do. What about goji berries? You ever try goji berries?
I actually grow goji berries. I grow gooseberries. I have like almost any berry you can think about right now. I do the elderberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, and then of course all my wild berries. Forage for those.
Yeah, that's cool. You get that. My chicken's still half of mine all the time, so that's you usually will get. I've got the big blueberries. They're called the top hats, so they're like this big. But the chickens get to them before we can ever get to them, because I just planted them 2 years ago. So I'm hoping that we can get to that point where we can get them put away before everything starts coming out.
Now, are those a low bearing bush, or are they the big ones?
They can get up to 5 feet tall. So they're the bigger ones with the top hats. I got the littler ones on this side.
Mm-hmm.
And then out by the field, I planted the other ones that are the variety I wanted was a more of a abundant plant. I want, to have that big output. On the homestead, we try to make sure that everything we have in here is something that we can eat. Otherwise, why have it? It's just taking up space.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing, like, as a homesteader and as a keto person, like, always in the back of my head, I'm like, when I want to plant something, my husband's more of like a landscaper. He likes to plant things that, just for the landscape. And I don't like that at all. I'm like, why are you going to plant something you can't eat? Like, it makes no sense to me. So
don't get me wrong. Our stuff is too. I mean, we have big gardens and flower gardens, and we have. You got to remember too is the one thing that when you do that, you're bringing in the bees to pollinate. So we have like a wild garden with all kinds of. It's a beautiful in the summertime with the arches and everything. That attracts the hummingbees, the birds, the butterflies, all that stuff to help pollinate. Because we are losing the bee population around here. It helps with the apple trees. It helps with everything. So we do have a lot of that in the area. But we also have a lot of room where we can do a lot more gardening and have we got 2 separate plots. We got the raised beds in one area, and then I've got the main garden with the that I do the back to Eden method gardening, and I do the more of the lawn gardening and stuff like that, raised mounds.
Yeah.
So, but Grant I was watching one of his videos. He's into the worms.
Oh.
And one of the things I looked at that is that last year I did a market style garden, but I put my compost in there and I just covered it up and left it. And on this end of the thing it has a black walnut tree, and I was told way back when there's a black walnut tree, nothing wants to go around it because of the iodine and the stuff that the tannins that are in black walnuts. It leaches out of the roots and it doesn't want to grow anything. So I'm like, well, 3/4 the end of my garden, about 1/3 of my garden has black walnut trees because I've got 12 of them that runs across my property. So that splits my 2 pastures. But last year I put that up, and I just put the compost in, the dirt in. I put all kinds of cardboard. I put some of the bark that we from cutting wood and stuff. I threw that all in there and covered it up. Well, in the fall here, I went in there and I started digging around, and you should see the worms that are in there. Now, there was nothing over in that end before, so I'm going to be really curious. The only thing I could get over there to grow was the corn, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens now, because the worms are aerating that soil, and it's super nutrient for them. So if they're in there, I'm hoping that planting something will be able to do it.
Yeah, I was lucky because we have 5 acres here, and like you said, I have 2 plots also. And so one plot is we do in the ground gardening. So one plot is for in-ground gardening, and then right next to it, do you ever read that book, The Secret Garden? Or see the movie? Well, anyways, that's where I came up with my berry garden. So the next plot is nothing but berries. So I have arches of berries and bushes and stuff like that. So it's like my secret berry garden.
I had a friend of mine that actually gave us some raspberries, but they're huge. I mean, they're like the size of my thumb. I've never seen raspberries. I always got ours out in the wild. We either pick black caps down off the land or wild raspberries or something. So I never saw any of these that big before.
Wow.
And I'm hoping, because when we moved here, I transplanted them. It took them 2 years to catch back up. And he had gorgeous bushes. I mean, they were just loaded with berries. So when he moved, he gave me some, and I planted them by my house right away, and they were great. Well, when we moved to this place, for some reason, they don't like the soil up here or what the deal is, but they're taking a hard time to get going.
Yeah. Huh. I've never seen them that big. Now, my blackberries get that big. My blackberries are huge, but my raspberries are just normal size. Let's see. I'm going to go over to the chat for a minute. When you start keto, what is a good meal for the whole week? I personally would switch it up. The only thing different about keto is you're not eating carbs and sugars. So eat the same things you're always eating. Just cut the breads and cut the pastas out and starches like your potatoes. But still have your meat and your vegetables, and you're good.
See there, you just killed me right there, cutting out my
Why?
potato.
I know potatoes was probably one of the hardest things for me to overcome. But once I realized cooked radishes taste just like potatoes, I was golden. Like I do my radishes just like potatoes now. I'll fry them up in bacon grease and onions, and they're awesome. I'll put some celery seed on there too. It's really good. And then same thing with like if you make a pot roast, instead of putting your potatoes in there, throw your radishes in there. It's really good.
I have to try that. I got a
Um,
pot roast one right now.
yeah, radishes, when you pull them out of the garden, you're eating them fresh. They're really spicy. But once they cook up, there's no spice in them at all. It's completely gone.
That's no fun.
I don't like spice, so to me it's fun. Who else said something? Let's see. Okay, I know what you're talking about, Doc P. I can't say the name of those berries, but they're really healthy for you too.
Acai berries.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a plan this year. I'm gonna start planting a lot more flowers and things like that. Get pollinators in. We'll see how it goes. I've got an herb garden going, or at least I'm trying to. I've got all the herbs planted in the house, so that's a big deal. I want to incorporate a lot more herbs into my diet.
So when are you going to try arugula?
I've tried arugula, but I don't have any seeds for arugula, so I can't grow any. But I'm going to have to push through and eat arugula. See, and like with keto and kale, a lot of people say kale is really bitter too, and they don't like the taste of it. So I'm sure if I eat arugula a lot and just keep eating it, I'll get used to it. So we'll see. But the purslane, do you ever eat purslane?
All the time in the garden, yep.
Yeah, I eat that too, and people think that's weird, but I think it's really good. I just throw it in my salads with everything else, my Swiss chard and lettuce.
Some people actually cook it up too, and like it's if you haven't tried it yet, I don't know if you can have rice with a keto diet, but it is phenomenal in rice.
Yeah, no, rice is like one of the highest carbs out there.
I had one of my friends told me that when he was taking the fresh purslane that I was giving him out of our garden, because in gardens it just grows like mad. He said it gave him such an energy boost, and he felt so much better and relaxed because he actually had that in his diet. And he would always ask me, "Hey, you got any more?" He'd run the bag dry and he'd get some more. And he swears by that stuff and says, "Man, I have energy all I want." He's pushing 60, so that was one of the things that he wanted to do instead of actually going to the doctor and get some kind of medicine. I said, "Hey, you should try out purslane. That works out pretty well."
Yeah. It grows in abundance here. It grows so crazy here in my garden every year. And then another thing, I don't know, Mark, if you've seen it, but I'm addicted to like the sweet peppers, the small sweet peppers and cream cheese and everything bagel. And I've noticed too, if I go without eating those for like a week, I get like really sluggish. And when I get them again and start eating them, I just have like this huge boost of energy. I'm like, what the heck? Like, these are some pepper powers.
Yeah, Tim, kale does it. Loses its bitterness taste, but there's also ones out there that don't get bitter. They're actually really refreshing. I think as the plant gets bigger, like your first picking, as it grows up, you're cutting the leaves and you're leaving your tops on the top to keep going, and that keeps. And as it grows up and gets bigger and bigger, if you're doing that during the summertime or the hot months, it seems like kale gets really bitter because it's backing off. It likes to be in the cold, like in the spring and the fall is the best time to grow your kale because it likes that environment. I've had kale that way it was snowing out and there's snow on the ground and the kale plants are still going.
Yeah, me too. Have you seen those kalets? Have you heard of those? So they it grows up like a stalk, like a Brussels sprout. And what they did is they crossed the Brussels sprout with a kale. So the stalk grows up, and then the kale is like, it's kind of like the Brussels sprouts, but it's kale instead. So you just pinch them off, and they're in little bushes.
Mine will get anywhere from about 2.5 to 3 feet tall. Like this year, we're going to try to dinosaur kale out because I've been wanting that for a long, long time. And I think it'd be awesome to get some really big leaves off of it. So we're going to try that this year to see how them really go. But every time I tried Brussels sprouts, I only tried them twice, and both times I failed because they didn't. I mean, by the time they were good to harvest, was always all freezing, and they became kind of mushy, and they weren't real big heads. They were kind of small. So
Yeah.
the same thing with okra. I can't grow okra here; it's not warm enough. I don't like our environment at all. I've tried it now twice, and I failed both times. I think I got one okra off of one plant, and I had like 7 of them. So,
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've never tried okra, and the Brussels sprouts I've tried several years, and I can't ever grow them either. But I keep trying every year because I love Brussels sprouts. I wish I could grow them though.
it depends on. I think I'd have to do more research on the plant itself because it must be missing something in in the soil that's causing that to stunt its growth. The other thing too is, especially in your environment, check your from seed to sow, or from seed to sow, and then it's from sow to the actual harvest. What your time frame is, because I know like if I can keep mine into that 60 to 63 mark, I do a lot better than for the long stuff. It takes because then we're in the fall time, and then at any point it can freeze and everything like that. So I've been trying to back off on my days because I'm finding out I only got 112 days of actual season, and if I can cut that in half, well, then I get 2 seasons out of it. So we've been trying to do that a lot lately.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll have to look that up. See, there's so much information out there. It's like my brain can't hold it all.
That's why we need to, you have a partner or the communities or something like that you can have, and everybody in the chat, everybody on the panels, they all have good ideas. So that's what's really cool about being in the Homestead platform and everywhere else, is because you got that vast knowledge. I mean, yeah, you can look in books or you can Google it, but some of them old time recipes are the best.
Right. Well, and then that's the thing. Like yesterday, I mentioned to you that I was looking up that red rosella.
Yep.
The Thai red rosella. And that's what we were doing. We were trying to plan out this herb garden. And when I typed it into Google, it kept saying it was a sorrel. And I'm like, no, it's not. And I'm like arguing with Google, and it keeps telling me it is a sorrel. I'm like, no. I'm like, what the heck is, I was getting so frustrated. But like every time I try to type in sorrel or hibiscus or anything, it just kept going back to the same thing. I'm like, I'm done. I'm shutting this computer off. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, sorrel is there's 2 different types. There's cheap sorrel, which is going to be your leafier greens. And then, like I said before, there's wood sorrel, which is actually a weed that grows in your garden. It has like the little heart flowers on them, and they open and close. They're yellow. I'm sure that you've probably seen them.
I don't think I have ever seen them.
Yeah,
I'll have to pay attention better.
Yeah, they look like a 4-leaf clover, but they're not a 4-leaf clover, and their flower is in the shape of a heart. So it closes at night and it reopens in the morning, and they're really good. They taste like rhubarb.
I'll have to do more research on it. But isn't it more? It's like a leaf, right? It's a leaf green. It's like a lettuce, right?
Yeah. Well, not
Okay.
like. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
it's like it's not a normal size plant. It's just like your spinach or anything like that. It's going to come up as a 1 leaf, and it's going to continuously grow on that leaf. I've never seen them as a big plant or anything like that. I've only seen them as 1 leafers coming out of the ground.
Yeah. Well,
Abby's life.
hello, Abby's life. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, but there's so much information. I think that's why like herbs intimidate me so much, is because there's just so many of them, and there's so much to learn on each and every individual one. Like I'm not talking about like your house herbs, your parsley and stuff like that. I'm talking about like the medical herbs. That's what I've always wanted, is a medical garden. And I would like it in a like permaculture style, just crazy and everywhere. But also I want to know which each and every one is I plant, so I don't accidentally poison myself or something.
Yeah, we just ordered actually from Amazon is milk thistle tablets. We have milk thistle all over the place, and if the more things that you look at, it was not only that I saw, but it was a liver detox. So right away it came up as, well, that's a dandelion too, because dandelion does kidney and liver detox too. It straightens out everything. So you can get away with using a lot of different medicinal plants that'll have the same concept. If you don't have dandelion, well, then you got milk thistle, and or bull thistle, or any of those other things. You can use that as an alternative if they don't grow in your area. Like dandelions, they should grow everywhere.
Yeah. But you don't want to you wouldn't want to mix milk thistle with dandelion now, would you?
Not usually. I don't try to mix the things. I've seen other people talk about the fact that they do the traditional ways. You're on it for 2 weeks, you're off for 7 days, and you're on it for 2 weeks. But you also have.
Can you show me your face while you're down there? You can turn your camera back off when you come up on the panel, but can you please show me your face down there? Go ahead, Mark.
Who's that coming up here?
Nose picking.
Oh, I've never seen him before.
He's in North Shore's chats all the time.
Okay.
I just want to make sure it's him and not somebody else. Try to beat him.
Yeah, you guys, if the reason why we're saying that, there's a lot of copycats. There's a lot of people that are putting out false information. So just show a camera, wave at her, and make sure it knows it's you.
He says I can't do that. I will explain. I hate computers.
Well, it's up to you, Jess. That's just how I roll.
Oh, I don't know. All right. I'll put you up there nose picking just because I know who you are, but if anything happens, I'm booting you. There
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
All right.
Dr. Pepper, yeah, a lot of medicinal herbs are used. In vegetable oil.
Hey, nose picking, you have your YouTube tab open too. You gotta close that YouTube tab. Or mute it.
Well, I did mute it, but it's still coming from the StreamYard.
It's good now. You're not echoing. Oh, maybe not.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Still echoing now.
Hold on, let me get my earphones.
So, Jess, this is what I was talking about.
Hold on, I'm so loud.
You can mute his mic until he gets it figured out. But this is what it's called. It's from Bullhouse Farms. And they have 3 apples, 1 pineapple, 4 mangoes, 1 1/3 bananas, and 1 kiwi. And with that, this has green tea, broccoli, spinach, barley grass, wheatgrass, garlic, Jerusalem artichoke, Nova Scotia iron, magnesium, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and vitamin C. When I saw that, I was like, that goes against the whole concept of putting fruits and vegetables together,
Yeah.
So I wanted to try this, and it is really, really, really good.
Sounds good. It's got a lot of good stuff in it.
And what's cool about that is it's antioxidants for vitamin C and vitamin B12. So this is a good source for your energy and stuff like that. So it's really, really good. No sugar added. 100% natural fruit smoothie.
Nice.
So I'm actually going to keep this tag, and then this year, obviously, you're going to get your magnesium from your vegetables in the ground, your B6, B12, and vitamin C you get from your fruits. But I thought this would be really interesting because we do have wheatgrass that I got up here. This is actually the third time that we cut it. So it kind of looks kind of sad. But as your microgreens start out, so here, this is wheatgrass, and we can put this in smoothies and freeze it. And like you said, we just cut it, but this will get about this tall, and you can get three pickings off of this before it's going to get too bitter and tough.
Nice. That's what I want to get into next is the wheatgrass.
Yeah, so microgreens are a good way of doing that, and it's for, like I was showing you guys the seeds that one night, or the bags of seeds that I have. It's a very easy way for someone to do that in your house. You get a light, you get 4 shelves. Like right now we have, this is wheatgrass.
Hello, Bridget. Thanks for coming in. Hello, Thornhaven Farm. Thank you for coming in. Tim, hello, and thank you.
So this one here is a leek. So nice, same thing too, is you have the ability to grow your own leeks. So if you wanted to add some kind of onion to a dish or just eat it the way it is, there is medicinal purposes on leeks. And then your least favorite one is, this is arugula. And actually, you guys are talking about bitter. This is not bitter at all. Very good. Oh, she got kicked off.
Sorry about that, guys. I got booted. Got booted from my live stream.
So you missed arugula.
Oh.
And a whole tray. That's funny. So those are the things you can do, guys, that'll really help you out, as microgreens are a great way of getting your nutrients in your food, and you can juice them up.
Yeah, Dr. Prepper, my back's doing a little better today. Medical herbs are these medical herbs used in essential oils? Yes, they are.
Yeah, Thornhaven, I was not too fond of arugula when I first got it, and it might have been the plants that we had outside, because you bring them in, and I mean, you could smell it through the whole house. It just smelled like arugula. No, this is different. I like this.
Do you still have that bottle close to you?
Yeah.
How much sugar content is in that?
0.
And it says 0 on the label too?
Oh, total sugars is 26 grams.
Woo! How much? Is there any carbs in it?
It says, but on the front of it, it says no sugar added. So it's all natural sugar from the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carbs. Calories, total fat 0, saturated fat 0, trans fat 0, cholesterol 0, sodium is 1%. Total carbohydrates is 11%. Daily fiber 1%.
See, and that's a lot because, like, if you're trying to do a ketogenic lifestyle, your carb intake a day would be 20 carbs, depending on, what you're trying to do. So that's more than half of your carbs for a day.
Wow.
And a serving size is probably what, 6 ounces?
This is 13 servings in here.
Oh, wow.
So what does it say per serving, I would guess? Serving size is 8 fluid ounces.
Yeah. So quite a bit.
I don't know how you guys can do a keto diet. You just ruin all my fun. potatoes, no carbs, no rice, no noodles.
But if you look at my channel, there's all kinds of things. Like I still make noodles. I just make keto noodles. I still can eat my tamales. I make keto tamales, things like that. You just need to substitute it with other things.
But like we make our homemade tortilla shells, and then we'll have like chicken tortillas or steak fajitas and stuff like that. You know, and that stuff I like. Yeah, and then like I'll go out onto the Blackstone and I'll make rice, and I can make all that right on a Blackstone, and I love doing that stuff in the summertime. It's just the best.
So let's compare. How do you make your keto tortillas, or how do you make your tortillas?
We use corn flour that came from the Mexican corn flour that you get for making and you make them fresh.
See, and the way I make mine is with almond flour and pork rinds.
Pork rinds?
Pork rinds, crushed up pork rinds. And it has the same texture and everything as a tortilla.
But now, if we had Courtney up here and she heard you say pork rinds, she'd probably be flipping out, because if she knows where pork rinds come from.
Yeah, I eat a lot of pork rinds on keto. Well, I use them for a lot of different things. Like you can bread your chicken with it. Like I said, the tamales, I use them as chips sometimes. But
So Dr. Pepper's asking, are any of those grasses good for dogs who have an upset stomach? You know, I try to feed my dogs the best food that we can possibly find, and I still find them eating grass. And usually what the rule of thumb is that if they're eating grass, they're missing some kind of nutrient. My dogs will actually eat more of the vegetables in the garden when they're fresh than any other dog I had. My one dog will come in there, he eats everything. The only thing that I found that he doesn't like is he doesn't like lettuce. But otherwise, he'll eat cucumbers, he eats green beans, he eats peppers. He loves cabbage, zucchini, all of that stuff. He has no problem with it whatsoever. So when I see him eating grass now, I just think it's more of a nutritional problem, because like Great Danes, what I learned with the Great Danes is they like their rice and their chicken. So people actually go and buy fresh chicken, cut it up, give them with rice, and let the dogs have that, because they have to have that nutrients. And I see the Great Dane eating a lot more grass out there, especially in summer. He looks like a cow. So I'm wondering if he's lacking in some kind of nutrients that's out there. But wheatgrass would probably be good if it's good for us. It's probably good for them too.
I can still hear you and stuff. I just had to let the dog out.
I'm trying to look past this mic. I got to figure out which one's the best place for it so I can read the chat. But yeah, I love the idea of, I would like to do, I've seen a lot of other people that did the keto diet, but I have a big bone, big frame, and I think I'd look like an Ethiopian if I tried some of this stuff.
Well, and that's the thing about keto. You gotta do what's right for you, you know. And even keto might not be right for you. Some things are right for some people and some aren't. But keto is adaptable to your body for whatever you need. Like, if you're obviously going to eat a lot more meat than I eat, because we're a different body type and you're a man, so you need more meat. But it's just like the vegetables too. You're going to eat more vegetables than I would. And
I can explain why.
Go ahead, nose picking.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, goody. Jess, thank you for letting me in.
You're welcome.
It.
Thank you for not being a weirdo, trying to steal nose picking's profile.
Nah.
I'll bring it back to us.
No, I have the utmost respect for you. So let me start by why I can't show my picture myself. Oh, crap. I guess I got the floor.
You got the floor.
7 years ago, on April 1st, my son called me up and said, Mom died. And I thought, worst April Fool's joke ever. But it was true. She passed away. 7 months later, let's call him Jay, he got murdered.
Oh my goodness.
So the rest of the family worries about gang retaliation. So a little bit of family that I have left, I kind of protect them. I couldn't do a GoFundMe like you did. I'm happy that you were able to do that, because that would put me out there and, well, can't do that. But when you lose your family and you lose your income and everything else, yeah, the county's after me big time for my house. My taxes that I owe are more than what the house is worth. I don't mean to be a downer. Like I said, it's been about 8 years, so I'm still standing, still going. Let's see what we got here.
Hey, Ginger Ninja, good to see you.
Yeah, I had to claim a Chapter 13 and my lawyer messed that up. So every time the lawn gets up to about, I just let the grass grow and then the county comes around or the city comes around and they mow it and send me a $300 bill.
Wow.
But yeah, I wanted to come on here and discuss this keto business and thought maybe we could hit this live stream out of the park, because what you don't realize, it has to do with Darwin and location. Over the years, well, let's say, where did he come from? Where are your ancestors from? And think about only the strongest and the healthiest survive. So whatever your ancestors were eating is what you need to eat. You come here to the great American melting pot, and people become, different, have a different, I hate to say race, but, you kind of get mixed up. But if you know that you're Irish, Scottish, or you're African, you eat different, So for a diet, I'm glad that keto helps you out, but this is the reason that certain diets don't work. You can eat this vegetable, that vegetable, and some of those won't agree with you because over 1,000 years, your heritage says, well, let me put it this way. I love cauliflower, but it doesn't agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to eat the way your ancestors eat. And I'm all for this keto business because that's very close to what I have to eat. But you have to tell everybody, stop eating those frickin' Big Macs and foods that have ingredients in them,
I can stop everybody right now in the chat from eating Big Macs or the quarter pounders and cheese and everything else. All you got to do is look what's inside there.
Right.
The mystery meat. I've got videos and proof about stuff that most people would freak about if they knew that it was going on. So if you do your research on certain areas and certain fast food places, they've actually found, and there's a statement in there that they're allowing so much of fecal matter in the meat that you're eating, and some places they've even had tested and found human remains in the meat. So after hearing that, my whole idea of going out and getting something from a fast food restaurant just dropped right off. Like I was talking last night, If you want to get a good colon cleanse, go eat somewhere like a Taco Bell or something like that, because
I loved going to Arby's. Arby's roast beef, yeah, oh, they were great. I was happy until I got food poisoning from that place.
it
And I
changed.
never ate there again.
Yeah, it changed. It
I
never
thought
used to be the.
roast beef would be good.
Well,
It
and that's
used-
the thing about keto. When people ask me how you're supposed to eat on keto, I like to tell people it's the way God intended you to eat. So if it comes in a box or it comes in the freezer section, if it comes in a can, it's probably not keto. If it has more than 5 ingredients, you should probably not eat it.
And plus, the point of it is you're talking about the ancestors. So I learned a lot of my wild edibles and medicinal plants from the Native Americans. And if you look at how it was set up back in the day of the pioneers and stuff, the Native Americans would go out into the grasslands in the summertime because that's where the food went. They followed their food around. And the wintertime,
Yeah,
when
I
it goes
got
cold out,
news for you. I
What's that?
am Native American.
I know I could hear it.
Get the hell off my land.
I could hear it in your voice. So that was the thing, is that like that was one of my good friends was a Ho Chunk, and I was with his grandfather was the local medicine man, and he would always take him out in the woods. And since we always hung out together, he said, okay, well, if you're with him, I'm going to start to teach you. So that's how this whole thing started. And then after that, I learned more and more and more things, and then I started looking into the history. And how did the Native Americans live in the land, and how come they would live in it so healthy? And you look at the Chinese and everything; their weight is managed. They're healthy. They live longer. Besides drinking the black tea, their teeth like to rot out. But why is that? Why is this happening? Why is the U.S. overweight, and they're unhealthy? They're not exercising. I'm like, Native Americans didn't have a gym out in the prairie, so what's the difference here? Okay, so they're running around, they're collecting wood, they're active. Okay, what are we active with now? We're active with sitting on a couch, watching YouTube or playing video games. That's what our children do. So it really got me diving into more things and looking at saying, okay, how can I change my lifestyle to go back to the basics of living? And because to me, that's the correct way of living. Instead of going to the grocery store and buying your own food, is so much better to raise your own food and then eat it yourself, because you know what you're getting. If it's chicken, pork, beef, whatever you're doing, milk.
I tend to call myself a shaman or the wounded healer. The Chinese people been around for thousands and thousands of years. They still eat the same food.
Yep.
Ain't no McDonald's over there in China. Well, maybe there is.
There is actually in the town, but not in the suburbs or in stuff like, or not suburbs, but in the little towns they don't have it. But you're absolutely right. There was none of that stuff, and you are what you eat. So if and nowadays they actually are injecting the cows with penicillin to get them to grow quicker, growth hormones. Your chickens are shot up the same way. That's why we stopped after I heard from my butcher, and right out of his own mouth, what they were doing with chicken. I do not go to the store and buy chicken anymore. If it isn't raised or I know where it came from, I won't eat it.
I wish I could do that, but you're kind of limited on what food you can get in the city here.
Yeah,
I'm in central New York, so your options are limited.
absolutely. I know it's hard for a lot of people to do that. They're talking to me a while back when I was on before about growing their own food, and people are asking me, how can I live in an apartment, how do I grow my own food? And I said, baskets. I've seen people do it in swimming pools. I've all over the place. Got to open up your imagination. What is Ginger saying? KFC has been growing their own meat in a lab for over a year now. That doesn't put it past me at all.
And it's funny too, like when you go full-fledged keto for so long, like I used to deliver baked goods for my Amish neighbors. They didn't have enough room in their buggy to take it to town. So I would go the night before, pick up all their baked goods, their pies and pastries or whatever they made, their cookies. And then the next morning, when it was time for them to go into town and set up, I would meet them there and drop them off. But I had been keto for so long, I hadn't been around any like fresh baked breads or cakes or pies or anything like that. And when I'd go to open my car door in the morning to get in there and deliver, I would get so nauseated and so sick just from all that yeast smell and bread smell. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. This is horrible. By the time I got to town, I was so sick.
There's a video out there. It's called Food Inc. Food, Inc. It's not available on YouTube, but you can find it online. It's really good showing how they raise their chickens and how they're all sick before they're even processed.
Exactly. I watched a video. It was actually hidden with the fish farms for the wild, where they were marking it as wild salmon.
Yeah.
But it was coming out of a farm. And somebody snuck in there and took pictures and videos of it. And these guys are wearing hazmat suits to spray chemicals in the water. And the guy was under the water, and you see a fish come by with half of its side is gone. And that's in there, and they're calling that fresh.
Ugh.
So it was like, there's no way. I mean, I'll throw it out of our streams and stuff like that, but I just can't do it anymore. And the thing of it is, we're finding so many more. I mean, back in the day, you could get a nice fillet of salmon or cod or something like that, and it was healthy. But when you're starting to see parasites in the meat that you get from the store, I'm done. I'm not going to be doing it anymore.
Yeah, that fish was sold as containing 50% less mercury because half of it was gone.
You know, it's terrible what we're doing. And, you know, if people don't understand the whole fact of, you know, the Native American culture, they're about Mother Earth and giving back to her. And as they would harvest something, it was giving back to her. I think a lot more people should be looking into that, because you're going to learn so much more, and your eyes will be open to see what is actually going on. Because all we've been doing is taking and taking and taking and not putting anything back, and now we're going to reap from our soul. So,
yeah, and if people would just quit buying those things, it would put them out of business. Like,
yep.
They would have to reinvent themselves. I don't understand why people just keep buying it, other than their eyes are still closed.
Because the fact of it is, it's easier to go to the store, pick up your meal, and then go home and cook it. That way, everybody's so busy. There's no more of the mom staying home and homeschooling the kids, and the dad is out working, and that care isn't there anymore. You got two parents; they're both working, so they come home at 5 o'clock. Now they got to get a meal together for their 3 kids to eat. So what's the quickest way? Is either stopping at a fast food place or going and buying a pizza. Very rarely now do you see families actually start, you know, making it the old way from start to finish from scratch. Like we were talking today, I asked a certain kid, hey, you know where your French fries come from? And they tell me McDonald's. You know, there's an issue. There's a problem there. There's a disconnect because they don't have the idea that that's actually grown out of a potato.
Yeah.
Amen.
So when you guys, you know, actually the best thing that you guys can do is, you know, start to grow your own food, get away from going to the store and buying things every day. I went down, it was probably a month ago, I wanted a fresh tomato, and it was non-GMO, it was supposed to be organic tomato. And when I cut into that tomato, I could smell fish algae and fish poop, like fish. So I knew right away it was hydroponic, because that's the only way that would have happened. And how am I getting my minerals and my nutrients?
Yeah, that's my big thing. Like, when people talk about hydroponics, like, I don't want to offend anybody. I know a lot of people like doing hydroponics, but it doesn't make sense to me. How are you getting nutrients and vitamins in there, and they tell me you just pour it in there in liquid form? Well, that doesn't sound very nutritious to me.
I've gotten tomatoes from the store, and they've had black stuff in them. Any ideas what that is?
It sounds like a blight or something in that category. As a tomato grows, it could be just about anything as far as a disease or a form of like a blight, I would guess. I know bottom rot is when the bottom of the tomato rots, and then if it grows around a new one. But I know tomatoes are huge on calcium. They need a lot of calcium to grow. So if they're calcium,
rot. It was actually in by the seeds. I didn't eat the thing. I ain't eating nothing like that.
Sounds like a bug got in there or something.
No,
No.
I had plenty of tomatoes like that. I got them from my local grocery store.
Hmm.
I ain't buying them no more.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either. You're welcome, Shawnee.
Barefoot. Even the salmon
Well,
coming out of the
Jess,
Copper River in Alaska have problems with the growth.
Yes.
Yep, I hear you.
What was that nose picking?
thank you for having me on.
Oh,
This
you're
is
welcome.
my first live appearance,
Well,
even without the picture of me.
There you go. Now
I
you got
think
your
you
feet
two. I think you two are great.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'll keep watching.
Well, we
Have a
appreciate
good
you
night.
jumping up here. You have a good night too. Keep strong, pushing on.
Hey, Worker Time Project, I just saw you. Hydroponic is hard to learn at first. It requires constant maintenance. Yeah, I don't. That sounds like more work than I want to deal with. Usually, when I put them in the dirt, I just let the nature take its course.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the thing about keto too, I think. Like the way I look at it, like I said, eating the way God intended us to eat, like our ancestors, they didn't get to eat meat constantly all the time, like they had to hunt for their food. They went weeks, even months without eating meat. So I think that's a good thing, the way to look at keto too, because like during like the summertime when the garden is full and everything's, harvesting everything, that's mainly what I eat.
I feel actually a lot better. And at first, I thought I would never say that because I'm a meat and potatoes guy. I've always been that way. I've had fresh bacon. I make all my own meats, hams, my summer sausage, all that stuff I make by myself. And I noticed that too lately is that when the garden's in full swing and you're out there, you feel refreshed, you feel energized because you're eating all that fresh vegetables versus the meat, and you don't need that you still have to supplement yourself with protein somehow. If you're getting your fatty acids or whatever, there's got to be a way to get that into your system. But I feel the same way. I feel more refreshed, more energetic in the summertime because I don't feel heavy as I do in the wintertime because all I'm eating is either the stuff that we put up in canned or I'm eating meat and potatoes or something like that. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. So like during the winter, that's when I eat most of my meat. Like, don't get me wrong, I still eat meat in the summertime, but most of the time I'm eating out of that garden and I'm full by the time it's supper time, But the stuff that I do can, the meats that I do can, that's what I'm saving for winter time.
All right, Barefoot. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Awesome. I'm still shocked nose picking came up on the panel. That's awesome.
Ginger Ninja's got some good information because she's found some things that I knew about that I don't talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've dug into all that stuff too. Ginger Ninja's a world of wealth as well.
If people realize and I hate to say this, like makeup, there's certain kinds of ketchups, there's certain things of food, drinks. There's a lot of stuff that actually has some of the things have fetuses in it. Some things have human remains in it. And if you would actually do the research on that kind of stuff, it's enough to point you in the direction that me and Jess are talking about where, okay, I had enough of this. I'm not going to be dealing with it anymore.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it has been for me, Mark. Like, I've done so much research and went down so many rabbit holes. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done. I can't do any more research. I'm just not going to do this anymore, and I don't want to look at it no more. Like, this is disgusting.
It is. It's terrible what they're trying to do. And if for those guys that isn't religious or something like that, but it talks about cannibalism in the Bible and how it's against everything that is about it. So if you think about who's behind cannibalism and why he would do that, so it's a thing. And actually, who was that? No one's picking. I was too. I was raised on meat and potatoes. I mean, we had venison in the freezer. We had all the stuff for hunting and stuff and fishing. And we didn't have the opportunity to go to the store. We grew our own beef. We had our own pork. We had our own chicken. So, If you went to the store, we had our own milk.
Ginger Ninja just keeps on going. I'm like, ah.
Yep.
Yep.
And the funny thing is that people, there's a group out there that we won't discuss their name, but they're so against this that they'll go and they'll jump on anybody if they're committed a murder and they're on death row. They'll back them up 100% because, oh, this is just wrong. This is just wrong. You can't be doing this. But they'll be the first one to take a big old swig of a certain substance that is full of that stuff, and they're or they're going to be going out there and going against unborn babies in the suit and killing them. They're all for that too, and I just don't understand where our world is going to. It's just a horrible, horrible place.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, like, I've been on YouTube for probably 3 years. I haven't had a channel that long, but I've been on YouTube, watching and listening and stuff like that. And I honestly didn't know how sick and disgusting this world was until I found YouTube.
Well, that's because if you live a simple life, a basic life, you're not looking for that stuff. Like, I don't watch any mainstream news, TV, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just for that reason, is because it's a downer. I don't want to hear about this, or I don't want to hear about that. Do I know about it? Absolutely. I keep up with current affairs and stuff, but I tend to want to find the truth, not the one-sided that everybody gets into. But when it comes to the food industry and that kind of stuff that we're consuming, and the stuff that they're hiding, that's what got me ticked off. And that's what said, okay, I had enough. I'm not going to be dealing with that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys ever had a fresh egg versus a store-bought egg, when you crack it, you can see the difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can see the dark yolk. You can taste it. It's so much better. I mean, if you remember back in the day, they used to tell you eggs were bad for you. And then they came out and said, well, no, eggs are good for you. Oh, no, eggs are bad for you.
And I think that's what's wrong with, like, the health industry too. And that's like why all these fad diets and the way we eat is so frustrating, because you've got the food pyramid, and it's like every 4 years that food pyramid changes. They say, potatoes with the skin on are healthy to eat. No, don't eat the skin. The skin's bad for you. It causes you problems. And like Mark said, you eat the egg white. No, don't eat the egg white. You only eat the egg yolk. And then they switch it. You eat the egg yolk or white and not the egg yolk. And it's like, okay, so what do we do? Like, nobody knows. And then finally, when I learned about keto and learned how it worked and actually got it to work for me, I was so mad at the food industry. I was like angry. I'm like, they've lied to us all these years and nobody knows it. Like, it was so frustrating.
I actually have a good friend that was a chef, and for many years, and he says, how much you're overcooking your food and you're cooking all the benefits of that food right out, and that's what the Food and Drug Administration wants you to do. Mm-hmm. One of these days, Ginger Ninja, I gotta have you on a live stream, because I think you would be quite interesting to listen to, because I see the chat in here. It's like, yeah, nose picking eggs are awesome. I mean, and that's the other thing too, is honey. Support your local honeybees in your area. Go find somebody that has honeybees. Yes, it's going to be more expensive, but the benefits are a lot better, because it's that free, non-pasteurized, it's fresh. That's the best. I
personally would rather pay more for my food than I would for my doctor bills. Just saying.
I don't know what that means, yay or no. She's got a smiley face and then a tongue sticking out, so I don't know what that one means.
Well, the one with the hand sticking out is a hug. This is the hug one, and the other one's crazy. So she's giving you a hug and saying you're crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely, Worker Star Bro. You go back to your roots. You will find things that, and you'll cherish those things better. When you plant that seed in your, like with children, you plant the seed, they see it grow, they see it turn into a fruit, and then they get to eat it. It's such a great experience for them. That's the biggest thing, is passing this knowledge down to the younger generation, because it's getting lost. A lot of the things that the pioneers, the the homesteading community, the Native Americans, that all has gotten lost, and we need to bring it back.
Oh yeah, and like our generation, like I'm sure you're not much older than me, Mark, but our generation has already lost so much. And the kids nowadays, like you said, the kid that thought his French fries come from McDonald's, like I'm really scared for the next generations, like what's going to happen, because all they care about is their video games. Like they're not going to know anything. I mean, a handful of them will, but geez, it scares the daylights out of me what this country is going to turn into.
So at Park Farm, good to see you. Absolutely. I mean, the farming community, look how it lost. I mean, I was raised on a dairy farm, and we had a veal farm, and we had a beef farm, and we had chickens, and we had all that on the farm. So yeah. I was raised that way. I was raised up getting at 4:00 in the morning, doing chores, milking, and then go to school and come home and start it all over again in that process. And it actually taught, a good work ethic. Now, what do you have? You can't even get kids to go do something, and you got to pull teeth to get them to go outside,
Half the adults you can't get to do that. Half the adults don't have any motivation to keep appointments or keep their word or anything like that.
That's the key to everything is you want to get that and show the work ethic, show that this is how you do. Get your hands dirty. It's not going to hurt you. Walk around barefoot. You're going to build your immune systems. I learned, I didn't know nothing about earthing or whatever you call that. When you walk around barefoot and it corrects your body through the ground and electricity. I didn't know any of that stuff until a couple of years ago. And I'm like, I'm a machinist. I'm on my feet 24, or I shouldn't say 24/7, but for 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, if not on Saturdays. And then I come home and do my stuff. So granted, I have really good boots and stuff like that, but I can't even wear tennis shoes anymore because my feet are so matched to my boots. So when I do walk around with any shoes on, my feet are actually killing me all the time. And then I have to, go outside to get used to that earthing and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I don't like to wear shoes at all. So in the summertime, I've always got my shoes off. I'm always barefoot in the garden. I don't wear shoes as soon as warm weather hits. And come fall time, I'm hurting because we have a lot of black walnut trees and we have a lot of butternut trees around here on my property. And we also have the chestnuts. And every fall I step on a whole chestnut full of
big old
pickers. Yeah, I'm like, why do I forget every year? Like, this is horrible. But I can't help it. I can't stand to have shoes on.
It was hilarious because back when I was a kid, I was running across the hayfield barefoot. I was baling hay in shorts and a tank top. It didn't bother me. Any of that stuff, and now I'll go back home and I'll grab a hay bale and instantly I get a rash come up down my arm, and I'm like, man, back in the day, now I'm turning into this big old wimp here because I can't handle anything anymore. Or I'll walk across because Hunter will be outside playing and I'll walk across the driveway and I'm all the way through that because my feet are just sore from it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. This year, that's one of the things I want to do is I don't care if my hobbit feet are sticking out. I'm going to run around a lot more barefoot and get used to that.
Yeah.
Get my feet back to normal.
Oh yeah. Walnut halls are adult Legos. So true.
I've had, Legos suck too, let me tell you. 3 boys.
Yep. This has been a really good chat. I've really enjoyed myself.
Good.
So much good information. I always like to say such juicy info.
Everyone picks on me for gardening barefoot in a sundress. Oh, well, I was a kid anyway, stepping on bees and nasty slugs. Can't get the slime off with alcohol.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I'm really bad. I'm horrible. Like I said, I never wear shoes, and I'll jump into the pig pen without shoes on, and I'm always getting yelled at my husband, like, you're going to get one of your foot chewed off one of these days. And I'm like, nah, it's all right. I'm always.
Them are the healthiest. I mean, kids are a lot more healthy. I think their immune system is better. I mean, you're using these hand cleaner to hand cleansing, that you're just killing all the bacteria that's helping you grow in your immune system. The other day I was watching a video and I see a lot of times when I was a kid, I didn't do any of that. I used to go in from the barn and go and grab a sandwich because it's time to eat lunch, you know.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that I probably am that one that ate over 8 pounds of dirt. And I'm the one that probably didn't, you know, I was hungry. I just ate and I go on.
If the kids did what us kids did when we were younger, their parents would probably have a heart attack now. I mean, I remember we used to watch, me and my friends would watch, you know, The Last Mohicans and things like that. And then we'd go out and role play it. We'd be like in the woods trying to steal some field corn and cook it up, and go down to the creek and cook up some crawdads and try to eat it. And we're like 8 years old pretending we're Indians, you know. And like nowadays the kids try to do that and these parents are like, what are you doing?
There's nothing like a good old crawdad fry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely, Shawnee. Good probiotics in the dirt. Absolutely. They always, you know, and people always freak out. Oh, you're eating dirt, or your hands are dirty, like, or you didn't wash that vegetable. I don't use pesticides. I don't worry. You know, unless I see a big old dive bomber on there from the geese flying over. But that's about it.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, I've had people come out, you know, friends or whatever from the city come out during, you know, like the full blooming of the garden, and there's strawberries in the garden and stuff. And I'm excited to show them and teach them about the garden and show them what's all growing. I had one friend come over and I picked a big, huge, juicy strawberry off the vine, and I'm like, here. And she was like, thanks. I was like, go ahead and try it. And she was like, I'd rather not. And I'm like, why? And she was like, because I just want to go in the house and wash it. And I said, that's the whole point of a garden, is to pick it off the vine and just eat it right out of the garden. Like, it's the best thing in the world. And she's like, no, she was like persistent. She's like, I really need to wash it off. And I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm just like, oh.
I do that. It's like when I'm picking green beans, 3 in the stomach, 2 in the bucket. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I want to take, you know, peas the same way. I'm shelling peas right out there as I'm picking them, you know, and cucumbers. One of the things, guys, that I learned is I grow everything on arches. Being as tall as I am, having back problems back in the day, I learned to grow everything up. So I'll do hog pens and I'll arch them, and perfect height for me to pick in. I don't have to bend over. Cucumbers love to climb on it. You don't have the mildew. You don't have the mold issues. You're getting your vegetables off the ground, getting rid of the pests. If you got squirrels, rabbits, slugs, whatever you want to say, getting that stuff up in the air is a lot better. And then the wind actually helps to clear a lot of that stuff out too. So don't be afraid to go up on panels, and it really is a great way of gardening.
Yeah, I eat so many tomatoes out of the garden that I make myself sick. Like, I can't help it. That's like the best thing, to walk out to the garden and just eat your fresh vegetables out of there.
Yeah, you can pick and choose if it's a cherry tomato, or if it's a Roma, or it's like a Tom Lincoln, like your big beefsteaks. You know, when you take a bite out of that tomato and the juice is running down your face and onto the ground. I mean, that's the idea of having a garden. You want to taste test.
Yeah.
Cucumbers, you know, last year I got the burpless. They're called Frenchies, and they get really long. They'll get probably 2 feet long, but they're only about the size of a silver dollar, and they're just delicious. I mean, they're super. You can eat the greens and everything, and I just love that. I'll just go out there and pick a bunch of them, bite on them right there on the spot. They don't get to the house.
Hey, Bill, thanks for jumping in. Yeah, we got a couple panels this year, Mark. So we're still gonna do it in the ground, but we're gonna try to do a couple panels too, see how that works for us.
Yeah, Worker Shine Project. Blueberries. They stopped taking me picking raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, because I ate more than what I put in the bucket when I was a kid, and I still do it to this day.
Yeah, I make myself sick on blueberries, so like I just can't stop eating them.
Bill's Country Channel. Hey, hello. Great to meet you.
From New Zealand.
Awesome.
Grow home grown tomatoes, sweet and salty. I stopped buying store-bought meters. Yeah. Hey, TH2, welcome.
That was kind of funny because when I was a kid growing up, there's a thing that's called Spike. It's really hard to find. You can find it on Amazon and everything else, and it's a seasoning that you can put on fresh vegetables. It's all organic. It's all good stuff. And I remember cucumbers, tomatoes, all that stuff that would go on there. Well, then you grow up and you forget it. Well, we found some more, and my kids now all love it. Everybody here loves Spike because you can put it fresh on your fresh vegetables, and it's just amazing. I hope they do workers' charm product because berries are so good. The antioxidants and everything that's in a blueberry, raspberry, strawberry. Yeah, absolutely, it's a superfood. One of those. I mean, I found out a couple of years ago, believe it or not, but pumpkins are another one for anti-cancer fighting properties also. So actually growing pumpkins for pumpkin pie and eating that is another way to help to keep yourself healthy. Well, good. I'm glad you saw me over there, Bill. Yep, we were over there a couple days ago and this morning. Yeah, Ginger Ninja, I love planting microgreens. I got so many of them. It's a great way to get through the winter so you can get some fresh greens in you. I love them. Actually, my flats are all full right there right now. I got wheatgrass, I've got leeks, and I've got arugula growing on the microgreens right now. And before that, I had radishes, I had a lettuce mix, and then some sunflower seeds. Sweet, yep. Noah's picking sweet potatoes. Another easy one to get going in the garden, and they're super, super healthy for you. Oh, I gotta get a new chair. This thing is killing my back. Jess ran off.
I was making lemonade. I didn't want you guys to hear the ice maker. It was super loud the other day when I was trying to get ice.
Well, I'm going to go run and get another cup of coffee now that you're back.
Okay. Where's my camera? There it is. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to get something to drink. I love sweet potatoes. Although they're not keto friendly, I do eat some sweet potato fries every once in a while. Yeah, pick fruit, put sugar on it. Have you guys ever heard of kefir grains? I really enjoy kefir, but it has to be homemade. I don't like the kefir that you get in the store, and it is a great probiotic. Yes, love sunflowers too, Ginger Ninja. I do not eat apples. Mark isn't keto, so he does juicing and he does apples and things like that, but I don't do any type of fruits. I only do berries. I don't remember Rickershire. That was ages ago. I don't like to think about the past. I only look towards the future. Yeah, I love sunflowers. I grow the mammoth ones. They're so good. Pears, wine, and brown sugar in the oven. Yep. Can't do pears. Something I want to do is make a homemade clay oven. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would be cool. There's a lot of YouTube videos on people that have made clay ovens that I've watched. I would like to make one sometime too. Now, let me explain something. I am keto right now, but we do have apple trees and things like that, peach and plum trees on the property. But just because I don't eat them doesn't mean my husband doesn't or other family. I can still have those resources on the property, and I can still can those resources. And if something ever does happen and it comes to me not being able to eat keto, I definitely will eat those other foods if I have to and I'm put in that situation. So I still do grow foods that I don't particularly eat right now.
Yeah, I like sunflower. We grow some huge sunflower seeds over here. And then you give one or two of them to the chicken, put the head down there. You should watch those chickens go after that. The meat's the roast's been cooking for 2 hours.
All fuzzy fork. It's all right. Don't worry. My husband's pretty cool. He's laid back. He does his thing. I do mine. As soon as I get off my lives, he gets on his and plays his World of Tanks with his friends all over the world. It's kind of like his YouTube. He gets to talk to people all over in Canada and New Zealand and wherever else. I don't know. He has friends all over the place. And it's actually kind of cool because he talks to his friends in the chat on World of Tanks about my YouTube channel, and they'll come over and watch me, and they support me too. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
If you guys really want to watch something that's funny, is watch him make ice cream. But what he should have did is put it up higher, because that way Jess can't get it, and hold it up so he could have kept it for himself.
Yeah, she picked out on it.
So if I would have did that, I would have been lifting it up there, and there's no way she would have got that ice cream. I would have been chowing down.
Hey, Hutch Homestead, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Hutch.
That ice cream was so good too.
Yeah, it did. It looked really good, but I mean, he looked like me 100%, because I would have got the big old power tools out to get that thing going. I would have went in the garage and got the old 1/2-inch drill and let her eat. That bucket would have went flying.
Hey, babe, he's talking about ice cream. You want to make some ice cream?
You crank.
I'm not cranking it. Hey, Prepper's mom, how you doing?
Yeah, I thought that was, I'm like, yep, man of my own heart there, grabbing the power tools and cordless. We're going to get this thing whipping around here pretty quick.
That was a fun night.
Hey, Hutch, I was just over on your live stream before. I should put myself in the chat.
Where'd you see Apple for?
Are you back there watching me? Yeah. See, he's back there watching me too. He heard us talking about apples. Now he wants apples.
Apples are good for you. I love making apple chips in the dehydrator. Mm-hmm. That's another good way of doing it.
That sounds good.
Before I went keto, I used to make the apple chips and banana chips, and I'd pig out on them. They're so good.
Now she went keto, she don't make nothing anymore. But keto stuff.
I make your apple pies still.
Keto?
No, there's apple pie back there.
All that feeling you got is keto.
See, I would go nuts, because if she would start making stuff like that and I didn't have my true apple pie, I think I'd lose it.
No, there is really apple pie filling back there. But the last apple pie I made it keto, and it was out of zucchini instead of apple. And I tried to trick him, and it didn't work. And so I actually have the zucchini apple pie on my channel, and him taste testing it, and he was like,
I don't blame him.
They didn't go down too good.
Prepper mom, good, or prepped mom, good to see you. You're trying to grow large sunflowers this year. It is fun when you get them up, 10, 12 feet tall, and the heads start to come out.
Oh yeah.
The only way that I like zucchini bread and zucchini muffins. Them are so good. And then we found out that we used some of the squash we could do the same thing with. But for those guys in the chat that have children that don't like zucchini, make zucchini boats on the grill, because you can make them into like a pizza. You put some sauce in there, some cheese, and all that stuff, pepperoni if you want, or sausage, and you make like a little pizza out of a zucchini. They're so good.
Yeah.
Spaghetti zucchini.
What were you going to say, Ben?
We planted your melons last year. Tell them that we planted beans there this year, and the melons are coming up too.
Oh no. So I planted Kajari melons and a couple other variety melons last year, and they never came up. And the ones that did come up, they were rotten before they even got right. Like, it was really bad. I don't know what happened. So my husband went ahead and just tilled it all into the ground. Well, this year I put my peas where they were at. So now the peas and the melons are coming up.
We have a hard time growing melons here too. They just don't want to get big. I mean, they're super good. They look like little honeydew melons. They only get about this size.
Yeah.
And they're super good, but it's just not like, I know it's not a honey melon. I know it's a bigger style melon, but they just don't want to grow. We can't grow like watermelon here. We have a hard time with the melons.
Do you know who Sarah is at the Big Blue House Homestead?
Nope.
Okay, so I was watching a video, yes, I think it was yesterday or the day before, on her, and she is so knowledgeable. Like, her information on growing vegetables and melons and harvesting seeds is just like insane. But she did a video the other day about the energy from metal being in the ground.
Oh yeah, I did watch something like that. She planted a bunch of melons around her old trampoline. I did see that.
Yeah,
Yep.
and she said she had a huge success, and she called it a certain word. Do you remember what it was? Like energy from the metal or something? I don't know.
It's from the atmosphere. I get the concept, but if that's the case, I've got so much. We bought a deer farm, so our fencing and everything that's around the gardens, and with me having the hog panels up in the arches, there's got to be, what is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them in the garden, and that doesn't even count the big T-posts and everything else. So we have constant metal.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, but I was pretty shocked by the information that she was saying.
I would really like to see it as a start to finish, to see what it looks like, because you can't really tell when you look at a plant in a box. But the amount of dirt and soil in that, I would say absolutely not. There's no way a plant could survive in that kind of an environment because there isn't enough nutrients there. But I saw the vines laying there that were from the year before, so
yeah.
Watch my video on squash crack.
Hey, Dutch, thanks for coming in. I know a person that puts rebar near his tomato plants. He says the plants grow better.
They grow great on cattle panels. I had them. They're close to 6 feet, or if not higher, and they kept going. I mean, I had some of their kickers, but I also take off all of the suckers and all that stuff. So I got just the main stem going all the way up, and I use not the deterrent, but the other one, indeterrent plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I leave all but one sucker. I take all the rest of them off, and then I'll weave them through the cattle panels, and they just go nuts. You can do that on strings too, Jess. I've seen them already 15 feet tall.
Wow. Yeah, last year I planted 72 tomato plants, and they were mixed. They were determinate and indeterminate, and I just mixed them all and just planted them down a row. They went crazy. My husband's like, "You're never doing this again." Like, we had so many tomatoes, it was amazing. I was having fun with it. I thought it was hilarious, and he was getting mad because there was just tomato picking every single day.
Yeah, that's a bad thing, is when they come on, it's like now.
Yeah.
And then it's like every day. That's why I love cherry tomatoes, and I love them. But I'll tell you, when them things turn on, it's like you can't eat enough of them to keep them off.
No, and I think it was the current tomatoes I planted, and they were indeterminate, and I planted like 8 of those. So when they came on, it was insane, but they were so good. I just sat out there and ate tomatoes like every day, making myself sick.
That's like with zucchini. I try to keep it down to 2 or 3 plants. Well, last year I showed in one of my videos the size of these zucchini plants are just huge. I mean, the leaves are covering half of me up. That's how big they were. And Hunter decided he was going to take some plants. So they're like, oh, okay, we got some mystery plants. He said they were squash. Well, here it turned out he planted 4 more zucchini plants, and they just went nuts. So I show one of the zucchinis is about this big. I got it next to my head. I'm holding this thing. It's just gigantic. And so it's like, what are we going to do with all those zucchinis? And when you come in and you know, them utility wagons that you can get with the big wheels on them and stuff like that, I'd have that thing packed full of just zucchini. I'm like, so every year we say, we're only going to plant one. And then when we do plant one, the stupid thing don't grow and we get none. So we always say, well, I'm going to go 2 or 3. So in case one dies or something happens, and then they just load us up every year. So I got zucchini coming out of my ears every year because I'll make zucchini bread, so I'll grind some up and then I'll freeze some and cut them up so you can have fresh zucchini and like your spaghetti and stuff like that. And then we'll juice some. And
Have you ever done any spaghetti squash, Mark?
yep, they don't like the spaghetti squash. It's like I like the butternuts or the carnival squash. And I made the mistake one year is I got my carnival squash or my butternuts mixed with my spaghetti squash. So then we had these butternut / zucchini or spaghetti squash, and it was just not a good thing at all. So I learned that okay, you guys got to be on separate ends of the garden because you guys like each other too much.
Yeah. Well, the spaghetti squash, I love spaghetti squash, and I store that all winter long too. But I like making stuffed lasagna spaghetti squash. You put your ricotta cheese and everything. Oh my goodness, it's so good. And not very many people like spaghetti squash, but they don't mind it that way. I'll also do a pizza spaghetti squash too, and it turns out.
I like the butternuts because you can can the butternut squash. You just put it in cubes and can it.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And then you can take it out and you got fresh squash. So, or we'll do it in bags and we'll put it in there.
Yeah, that's a good
Spaghetti
idea.
nut, yeah. It was. I never thought that they would cross pollinate at actually Wickershine Project. I thought, okay, this is going to be good. I got the butternuts on one side and we got the spaghettis down on the far end. So I didn't think that they were going to cross pollinate. And when they did, it's like, and if you guys go watch that video and look at the size of it, it's like the name of the video is called Monster in a Patch. And I have one showing there that it's a 14-pound butternut squash. It's just a gigantic. It's huge. But you see that patch, it's just beautiful. It's huge, you know, and I'm like, never thought in a million years that they'd cross pollinate.
Ginger Ninja spaghetti nut is what it's called.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, it's 8:34. I'm sorry, but I gotta hop off here. It's time for Barrett to play his war game, so I gotta share my computer. But I want to thank you all for coming in and chatting it up with me and Mark. I want to thank you, Mark, for coming up on the panel.
Hey, no problem. Glad you had me up here.
Yeah, it was fun. This was great. I really enjoyed this chat. And everybody in the chat, I just hope you stay happy, healthy, and safe. And we'll see you soon. Have a good night.
Take care, all.